What's up, guys? Justin here with TheSketchUpEssentials.com, back with another SketchUp extension tutorial for you. So in today's video, we're going to create a dome shape with framing underneath using extensions. Before we get started, remember that my next live SketchUp coaching call is tonight in the SketchUp Essentials community. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you go get registered before tonight's call at TheSketchUpEssentials.com/community. Inside of that community, you're going to get access to different trainings as well as live coaching calls where you can come and ask your SketchUp questions, as well as access to my community forum where you can interact both with me and with other people learning SketchUp. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure to check that out at TheSketchUpEssentials.com/community. Now let's go ahead and just jump into it. So to start off, to create our canopy shape, we're going to use the extensions Soapskin and Bubble. Note that I will link to all of the extensions we use in this video in the notes down below. So we're going to start with Soapskin and Bubble, and we're just going to start by drawing the length of one of our sides. So I'm just going to draw a line, and we'll go ahead and call this line maybe 10 feet long, something like that. So just a line like this one. I don't know how I managed to draw that off axis, but let's draw a 10-foot line. And so then what I want to do is I want to make a copy of this. And so the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to find a midpoint. So I'm just going to draw a line out, and we'll say that this is going to have maybe we'll call it a 15-foot radius. So I'm just going to draw a 15-foot line right here just so I can find that point. But now what I want to do is I want to select these, and I want to copy them using the rotate tool. So I'm going to activate that by tapping the Q key, and then we're just going to single click on this middle point, click again, and then instead of clicking, we're going to tap Control before we click and rotate this 90 degrees. And so when we rotate this 90 degrees, we want to hit star or times and 3 in order to create 3 copies, each at 90 degrees. So now you have the base of your shape. So now what we need to do is we need to draw the arcs that are going to go between these. So to start off, I'm just going to draw an arc that goes straight up on the blue axis using the arc tool. And we'll say that this is going to go up, maybe we'll call it 7 feet. So I'll just draw the bulge here to be 7 feet. But what we need to do now is we need to rotate this in. Well, that can get a little bit tricky because at the moment I can't lock my protractor to be perpendicular to this shape, right? Like there's no easy way to do that. So what we want to do is we want to temporarily change our axis. And so the way that we're going to do that is we're going to come over here to the large tool set, and inside of axes, we're going to draw a new set of axes that align between these points. So I'm just going to click again. Now these are aligned, and now if I stand my rotate tool up, you can see I can tap the Q key and then tap the right arrow key to lock this to the red axis. And so when I do that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rotate this in maybe like 25 degrees. So we'll rotate that in like this, and then I probably shouldn't have erased my midpoint quite yet. So I'm just going to draw a line across here, but I'm just going to use the rotate tool and do the same thing where I create 4 copies. So, or really 3 copies plus the original. So rotate tool in copy mode times 3, hit the enter key. So what we've done here is we've created a frame that we can now use in order to create this dome shape. And we may end up coming in here and scaling these down just a bit. For right now, yeah, let's go ahead and scale it down just a bit right here. But what we've done is we've created a frame. And so your first thought when creating this frame is maybe to use the extension Curveloft in order to create a skin across here. That actually doesn't work as well as I'd like it to. So if you do that, your geometry just gets kind of weird, right? Like nothing is really mapped right. It doesn't really come to a central point. So it's not really what we're looking for in this situation. What we're going to do instead is use the extension Soapskin and Bubble. So I'm going to delete this surface out. And instead of using Curveloft, we're going to use Soapskin and Bubble. Remember, again, I will link to all of these extensions in the notes below the video. I'm just going to draw a box around this to select it. Then I'm going to activate Soapskin. Notice how what Soapskin does is it finds a centered, more well spaced out grid that's going to use to create a skin. Well, in this case, I'm going to up my divisions to 20. Note that we're going to use the divisions in here in order to create our structure. So once we've done that, I'm just going to hit the enter key. So what that did is that created a skin across the frame that we had selected. Well, now we need to make this go up more, right? We need to make it look like it's inflated. Well, the cool thing about soap skin is if I click on the select tool and then click on the skin, I can adjust the ratio in here, or I can adjust the pressure in order to change the way this looks. So I'm just going to click on the pressure button, type in a value of 10, and hit the enter key. Notice what that does is that pushes this up a little bit, but it's still not quite what we want. So I'm gonna up this to maybe 20. And so when I do this to 20, this looks a lot more like an inflated shape. All right, so now all we want to do is we just want to adjust the ratio in here to kind of loosen up the tightness between these lines. So to do that, I'm just going to select this, go to my ratio, I'm going to put in a value of something like 2. You can see how what that does is that really loosens this up a little bit and makes this look a bit more organic. You can kind of play around with these settings to get the result that you want. Note that you don't want to go too far because soap, skin, and bubble goes into this like weird infinite loop and you can lose everything. So you might want to save your model before you do too much with this. But we're going to go ahead for right now and we'll call this good. So now what I want to do is I want to make a copy of this off to the side. That way I have my original if I mess around with this. But what I need to do now is I need to create the framework that goes beneath it, right? And so I'm going to use the extension Profile Builder because it allows me to create custom profiles. If you don't want to do that, this gets a little bit harder with free software. So you might be able to create something with like Lattice Maker or something like that. I'm going to use Profile Builder for right now. And so I'm going to go ahead and reset my model axes. So I'm just going to right click on my axis and click Reset. That'll put this back to what it was before. So then I can just kind of move this over. And so what we want to do is within Profile Builder, we want to add profiles along these paths, right? Or along these edges. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to go into a top-down view like this, and then I'm going to double click. And so for some reason, one of the cool things about Profile Builder is you can create a profile like this 2x4 plate, and you can actually select a path and it'll actually extrude it along the path. So for example, if I was to select all of these edges and then run this, what it would do is it would come in here and it would place this based on that path. However, for some odd reason, I'm not really sure why, for some odd reason, if I select the whole thing, it doesn't seem to want to do that, right? It creates like this extra group of edges, but it doesn't actually create the structure. So what we're going to do is we're just going to create kind of a workaround. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to click top like this, and I'm going to select half of my structure, right? So I'm going to select all of this right here. And what I want to do is I want to place this 2x4 plate along this path. And one thing I want to do is I want to make sure that my placement point is placed right at the top of my 2x4 plate. And you might use a different profile. I'm just using a simple 2x4 profile. And what I want to do is I just want to click on the button for Build Along Path. Well, notice how what this does is this does exactly that. It'll take this structure and it'll put it in here all along this path. So you've got all these 2x4 plates that are in here now. Well, now what I want to do is I just want to select them all in the outliner. So we're just going to do a shift click. Probably need to start at the bottom to make sure that I'm getting them all. And then I just want to make a copy. So I'm just going to use the Move tool in copy mode to create a copy over here. And I'm just going to scale that to a value of -1. Well, what we've done is we've created a full structure in here. And so I'm just going to move these back together. And you could delete out some of the extra geometry in here. I'm not going to worry about it too much for this video, just to keep everything moving forward. But I'm just going to move this back and align it right here. So now what I have, if I was to hide my face, like this, I've got a structure in here. And so we've got a structure that makes up our object, and there may be a little bit of cleaning up you have to do in a couple of these areas. You could go back in with your face and just select this piece of the profile in order to do that. Well, then what I want to do is I want to take this whole face, I'm going to go ahead and make it a group, what I want to do is I want to give it just a bit of thickness. So to give it just a bit of thickness, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the extension Joint Push Pull from Fredo 6. So what Joint Push Pull does is Joint Push Pull allows us to give some thickness to an object or to a curved face. So what I can do is I can just click on this face, move my mouse up, and I can actually type in a value because I don't want this to be 2 inches thick. I want it to be like, we'll call it 0.25 inches thick. So just enough that it's actually like a structural piece. Well, then I can come in here and I can apply a glass material to it so that you can see the structure underneath. So what that does is that gives you a smooth face on top of it. And then I'm just going to go find this point right here. I'll just move it up so that it's actually on top of my structure, like this. And then I've got this structure with an actual skin on top of it. So that's where I'm going to end this video. Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought. Have you used these extensions like this? I just love having that conversation with you guys. If you like this video, please remember to click that like button down below. If you're new around here, remember to click that subscribe button for new SketchUp content every week. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.